Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS in.form. I'm your host, Bill Potter. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be finding out about the Community Foundation, and we're going to find out the good that has happened because of donations to the Community Foundation, and thus then their granting. Joining us in the studio is the Associate Director of the Dubois County Community Foundation, Nona Baker. Nona, welcome.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Well, how much money roughly does the Community Foundation give out in a year?
Well over $1 million. To all kinds of organizations, all kinds of purposes and causes. This year, before the year is out, we'll have granted nearly $1.8 million, which is a record for the Community Foundation.
Wow, and all of that money goes back into Dubois County in
Back into
many
the community.
different ways.
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about some of the grant highlights for 2019. Okay, and I was looking at this list and I thought, well, you know, this doesn't add up to $1.8 million.
Oh, these are just the highlights.
Okay, but it's you made a comment off the camera that I just want you to point out again about the amount of money and why we're highlighting these and not necessarily all of them.
Absolutely. Well, there's over 500 individual grants that are made, so it'd be tough to highlight all of them. Right. The amount of grants that we make, very large to very small and everywhere in between, and the one thing that we like to always share is that the amount of impact that a grant has in our community is not always directly tied to the amount of money that was granted. There are a lot of impacts actually from very small grants on a regular basis.
And if we did go through all of those, because there might be grants as small as $500. Do you even do anything else?
We do smaller grants as well. They also have great impact. We do over 70 scholarships that are awarded to students that help them achieve their higher education goals. So from roughly $500 grants to $150,000 grants and everywhere in between.
So while the dollars are important, the impact is more important.
The impact is what we're looking for.
Well, let's look at some of the highlights that you've had for 2019. And the biggest one is for health and wellness with the Tri-County Y.
The Tri-County YMCA is probably one of the organizations in our community that can truly say they serve every demographic as far as from small children to seniors and everywhere in between when it comes to health and wellness. They had a capital campaign this year that they've been operating that will increase their facility size in Ferdinand, but also more importantly the programming that they do throughout Dubois County with before school, after school care, summer programming. We also are contributing to that through the grant, and it was $150,000 that we were able to support their efforts to serve our community.
Is that about the largest grant?
That's one of the largest,
okay.
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
Well, then let's go down to some of the smaller ones. And again, it's not the dollars, it's the impact and the quality of life for seniors.
Quality of life for seniors. We made a terrific grant earlier this year to Good Samaritan Northwood. They are a nonprofit senior living facility, and they have several different levels of senior living facilities. We've partnered with them on a number of different things, most recently a music therapy program that is still going on and is very, very well loved by the residents. But this particular grant this year was for raised garden beds. There's a lot of seniors that live at Northwood that love gardening, and it's a big quality of life that they want to continue. So the raised garden beds enable them to continue doing what they love, and then also the produce goes back into the kitchen, so they enjoy it as part of the menu.
Enriching the lives in our golden years.
Yes, absolutely.
Drugs are a problem everywhere, and I remember when this came in, we ran a news story on it, and that was when Tim Ryan came in, but there was a grant there for addiction.
Yes. Part of what the Community Foundation, what our goals are to serve our community, the wonderful quality of life things like raised garden beds, but also our area is not immune to problems with addiction, substance abuse, alcohol abuse. The Dubois County Probation Office brought a speaker in to come into our 4 school corporations and talk about his experience with addiction and recovery. It was a very eye-opening experience for many people. It was actually a small grant. Our portion was only $2,500. So as far as a grant goes, it was one of the smaller ones. But the bigger impact is in what that speaker was able to do whenever he was here, the lives that he was able to touch, and they've been able to track back now that 20 adults and 9 students have entered treatment directly because of this presentation. So that's where the big impact comes in.
Again, the impact, right. Mental health is something now that has become not that it's a buzzword, but all of a sudden it's in forefront of people's minds with the events that happen nationally. How are you helping in mental health?
We have really focused a number of different grants in the mental health area. One of those has been for Hospice Health. They are primarily a hospice provider, which is, of course, also a needed service in our community. We have some great ones here. They also are a grief counselor. So additional mental health providers, we need more of them. And when they came into the community as a nonprofit organization, we supported them with a grant that enabled them to get established. They're very well known in the Louisville, Corydon area. They're primarily southeast, and expanding into our community and adding their services for grief counseling that enables them to work with families, with individuals, and then also in our school corporations when a student or someone in the school passes away, they're able to work with students and administrators through that.
What about through the big buzzword all the time too? People like to talk a lot about cancer, and everybody's affected by cancer. How are you helping in the cancer?
We support cancer initiatives all year long through support to the Longy-Fuse Cancer Center, of course. We've got a number of different funds that support that. We've also had the opportunity to work with the Greater Evansville affiliate of the Susan G. Komen Foundation recently. They provide a little bit type of different service, and they provide some direct financial assistance to individuals who are fighting cancer. And so we were able to work with them. They actually started their program assisting someone from Dubois County. So that was a unique opportunity for us to be able to continue that. And that grant assistance, of course, is specifically for individuals from Dubois County. And they connect through our hospital or whatever the hospital the patient is seeking treatment at, and they're able to receive some financial assistance to help with the bills while they're seeking treatment.
In tough times.
Tough times.
And what about disability assistance?
Disability assistance, we have had the opportunity to work with a number of different organizations, including Special Olympics, SOS Kids, a number of different organizations. This year we were proud to make a grant to Southern Indiana Resource Solutions, more commonly known as SIRS in our area, because that's a mouthful, try to say all of that. They have the need to expand their facility and be able to provide more programming services, specifically their day programming for individuals with disabilities that come in. So we were able to support them in that capacity building type of project so that they can expand their program and serve those with disabilities that they do every day.
And then one of the final ones was that we're highlighting is capacity building. First of all, what is that, and then what did you do?
Capacity building, it actually is a lot of things. Primarily, capacity building talks about whenever a nonprofit is supported in a way other than direct support for their mission. So like, for example, capacity building, the grant to SIRS was expanding the capacity of that organization to be able to serve their clients even more and better. Capacity building often is professional development opportunities for nonprofit professionals. In addition to direct program support, nonprofits often have a hard time sending their teams for fundraising training, for financial management training, for board development training. Those are opportunities that we provide because that education and that development for our nonprofits, we want them to be as effective and healthy as possible. So we provide grants for that as well.
Okay, and that went with Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity, yes. Holy Trinity has an individual that works to raise money for their private school corporation. And then we also have assisted Girls on the Run. We've assisted Habitat for Humanity serving Dubois County. We serve a number of organizations not only by providing training opportunities through the Community Foundation, but also providing grant support so that they can go to other places and have some training as well. And those two, Holy Trinity and Habitat for Humanity, went to the fundraising school in Indianapolis, which is a world-renowned organization that provides nonprofit education.
So you really do, you are helping out in a
great
wide
variety
of ways, and in some way touching people directly and in another way indirectly, because there's so many nonprofits in this community that are doing work. And so you may benefit from what that nonprofit does, but that nonprofit benefits because of the grants that you give, which is because of the donations the Community Foundation receives. It's kind of a great big circle that helps us
It is a big circle, yes. We couldn't do anything that we do without the support of our donors, both in years past, current donors and those donors who are remembering us in their estate and want to continue to support causes and things in Dubois County that they love long after any of us are going to be here. That happened years before us, and it will continue on for generations to come.
And if you are part of a nonprofit organization, you can see by this list, you're not limited. They just need to contact you and
Absolutely.
see how you can help them. And then maybe they can contact you now and say, we've got some program we're going to do next fall. What should we do? And you can say, well, apply for these grants at these cycles. Because you do different cycles throughout the year.
Actually, we don't anymore.
Okay.
We are unique in that. A lot of funders actually have grant cycles, and the Community Foundation used to operate on a single grant cycle, and a couple of years ago, we expanded that to all year round because we want to make things as friendly and as beneficial to our nonprofit organizations. What we were finding out is just as soon as we were done granting, here came an organization with a great idea. So we grant all year long, January through December.
Wow, it just keeps getting better.
It gets better all the time.
It's a golden egg for Dubois County, the Dubois County Community Foundation. Nona, thank you very much for coming in and talk about the highlights of the grants that have happened. Remember, if you'd like to make a donation to keep these kind of grants going, contact the Dubois County Community Foundation.
We'd be happy to speak with whoever is interested in learning more about our work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Our guest has been Nona Baker. She is the Associate Director for the Dubois County Community Foundation. Thank you for watching 18 WJTS. We're local people watching local people.